just very aggressive punches. The individual is later pepper sprayed and arrested. I'm wondering if you saw the video and if you could share your thoughts on it. I'm also wondering if you know if the officer in question is still on the streets, and if you don't know, should he be?
Yoav, a very good question. I have not seen the video. I'll make sure I do. Can get you an update on both what has been determined from that incident and what the status of the officer is, but I don't have that in front of me now. Go ahead.
Okay. I wanted to ask something about the ULARP announcement. Vicky Bean has said that one of the key criteria for which projects are going to move forward is an emphasis on economic and racial equality. And I'm just wondering if you can say more about that. Is that how you're going to prioritize which projects move forward?
As always, the City Planning Commission looks at a number of factors of what's best for the future of New York City. I have long believed that city planning should not just look at abstract planning principles, but practical realities that matter to New Yorkers, like affordable housing and job creation. But yes, of course, everything we're doing in the government right now is about addressing disparity and inequality and using the tools of government in every way possible to help communities that have been for so long left out and that bore the brunt of this crisis. So that will certainly be a factor of what we do going forward.
The next is James Ford from Pix.
Yeah, hi, good morning.
How you doing?
So far so good. Thanks for asking.
I'm unqualified because I was born poor and never should catch up.
That video of the police officers with this allegedly homeless person. I heard your answer. Nonetheless, the fact that the video does exist and that people observed this incident, I mean, can you just respond to the fact that it happened at all?
James, it's a very fair question, but I want to emphasize the first thing to understand is the whole story. And we don't always get the whole story from a brief video clip. Sometimes we get a lot and what we need to know, other times there's a lot more to it. So it's never right to comment until there's been an actual investigation. This one I just don't know the status of the investigation, but I'll make sure we get you every incident seriously as you've seen. Again, I emphasize the vast majority of our officers do their job properly. Anyone who does not, you have seen the discipline process is speeding up now. And the suspensions you saw in the last few weeks are evidence of it. So we'll get a full review of what happened here. We'll be public about it. If further action is needed, we'll be public about that as well. Go ahead, James.
Just a quick follow-up for my colleague, Nicole Johnson. The march across the Brooklyn Bridge yesterday ended up also being joined by the Sergeants Benevolent Association and Blue Lives Matter. Can you comment about that, noting your history, particularly with the SBA?
Look, I don't know everything about the march. My understanding is it was started by community people who are concerned to make sure their community is safe, and I respect that greatly. And that's what I talked about in the opening today. We have to keep communities safe, get community and police working together, and address the need to constantly reform the NYPD. We can do all of that at once. But the SBA has only practiced division. They foment hatred. They don't try and help us move forward. I have been fighting with them for years. And they've been fighting with our police leadership. They attacked Jimmy O'Neill viciously. They've attacked Dermot Shea. They don't try to create anything good. They only try and tear down, which is why I have no respect for the leadership of the SBA.
Next is Jake Offenhart from Gothamist.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to ask about the 1,300 New Yorkers who are still facing criminal charges for violating the curfew, which you later rescinded. Many of them were physically detained by the police, had their freedom taken away for hours. Should these people still continue to face criminal summons for violating the curfew? Should the DAs toss the charges? And what do you think is fair here?
Jake, it depends on the offense. Respectfully, a lot of times it's not just one thing. And I don't want to tell the DAs how to do their job, and I can tell you it's case by case. So it really is up to them to evaluate each one.
In the case of people being arrested for violating the curfew specifically, we watched this happen over and over again. People were out at 8:30 or 9:30. They were arrested and charged with specifically violating your curfew. Should those cases...
Just don't. I respect you and I respect your reporting, but I don't agree with the frame of the question. It's just too simplistic to say that's the whole story. So we had the curfew for a purpose, because we saw too much violence of different kinds, and we had to end the violence, and we did end the violence. And now adjudicating what should happen in each case depends on the specific of the case. That's just all there is to it.
The next is Abu from Bangla Patrika.
Hello, Mayor. How are you?
Good, Abu. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much. I have two questions. Number one, it's been a long time. The New York City Department of Finance parking code, our parking badge code, they are closed, and there are the people who have a lot of tickets. They are not even, some people, they are not even able to pay. What is your suggestion to them?
It's a good question, Abu, and I don't know enough about what's happening right now with parking violations, so we'll get you an answer later today. Look, obviously a lot of agencies had to change what they were doing or restrict what they were doing because of the coronavirus. We're trying to bring back as many functions as much as possible while making sure we're fair to folks in the meantime who might have been affected. So we'll get you an update on that. I don't know the specifics. Go ahead.
And then there is a guy who born in Bangladesh, killed day before yesterday, brutally in Manhattan. His name is Fahim. Do you have any update of this? Who is the killer, or what is the update of the case?
Yeah, Abu, again, I apologize. I do not. It's obviously a horrible tragedy when we lose someone, and my condolences to your community. I don't have an update, but we'll get you one in the next few hours for sure.
We have time for two more today. The next is Steve Burns from WCBS 880.
Thanks. Good to be with you, Mr. Mayor. Wanted to first ask about daycare and the announcement here. It seems like you're hoping to have most of the capacity available when it's needed by September, but not sure about it yet. So I wanted to see if there are any plans, what the plans are for selection process, application process, who may get first dibs, just how that's all going to be decided.
Yeah, great question, Steve. I'll start, and then Melanie and Lorraine can add. Look, we are creating this rapidly. It was very important to get a sense of how many parents wanted their kids back. And until we had that, we didn't have enough information to really test demand. We got that information in the last couple of weeks. We now realize there's huge demand. We're building capacity rapidly. It is amazing the creativity you're seeing with the leadership of Melanie Hartzog and Lorraine Grillo, and the number of locations they're finding, the way they're thinking about quickly converting those and having those ready. So I have a lot of faith in our ability to hit that 100,000 mark and then keep going. As to applications, etc., that's some stuff we still have to work through. But again, Lorraine or Melanie, you want to speak to that, when we're going to have the next steps in the process?
Sure, I can start and Lorraine can jump in. Just in terms of how we'll actually stand up the capacity through community-based organizations, our goal is, as I mentioned, leveraging our existing contracted providers. And so there's outreach happening as we speak today to each of these community-based organizations, asking them if they have additional capacity. And if they do, we will amend their contracts quickly to be able to provide that additional capacity, if need be, get it licensed quickly with our partners at Department of Health, and do any outfitting of the space that's necessary, thanks to the leadership of Lorraine. I don't know, Lorraine, if you'd like to add a little bit more to that.
Thank you, Mel. Actually, you've really said it all. We are working throughout the city. There is no one specific place we're concentrating on. We're concentrating in all 5 boroughs. So hopefully we will be able to find adequate space in every single borough.
Homophobia is not
Steve's really broad-based approach, and we want to keep building that capacity. Again, Lorraine's point about we need anyone who has space that might work for childcare to let us know of their willingness to work with us. Or Lorraine, what is that email or website they can go to?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me? Yes. Hello?
Yes.
It is www.nycsca.org/real estate/sites.
There you go. So please, to our colleagues in the media, if you could spread that around, because we want to make sure that everyone who wants to help us build up this childcare capacity gets involved quickly. And I think there's a lot of people who have sites, who have property, who actually would like the opportunity to do good for the city and obviously bring in some revenue at the same time. Did you have a follow-up, Steve?
Yeah, just real quick on a second topic. The MTA has said it may run out of emergency funding by the end of the month. I know its funding isn't necessarily your jurisdiction, but is the city working on any contingency plans should the MTA need to institute some cuts? And they've said those cuts could be massive on a scale we haven't seen before. Is there anything the city has in mind to mitigate that should it happen?
It's a great question, Steve. It is not our jurisdiction, you're right, but we care deeply. I care deeply about what happens with the MTA. It affects all 8.6 million people I represent. This has to be solved with federal stimulus money. There is the hope and prayer that that will happen in the next few weeks. I'm still far from certain about that, but that's the only solution that will really, really work. I've been fighting for it. I am having a conversation with federal officials today to try and continue to push the stimulus effort. But I have confidence the state will do everything it can to come up with the best possible alternatives if the MTA gets into that kind of trouble. But we don't have those resources at this point. So this is about both the state doing all it can to be creative under the circumstances and us fighting like everything we got to get something done in Washington for the help we deserve and need.
Last question for today goes to Gersh from Streets Blog.
How are you guys doing today? I really appreciate taking the call.
Hey, Gersh, how are you?
I'm good. Two quick questions, Mr. Mayor. First, today, Bike New York demanded major reforms of the NYPD, saying that the department, quote, has not been on board with efforts by the DOT and other parts of city government to make New York City safe and welcoming for bike riding. Now, their list of recommendations include getting the NYPD out of traffic enforcement, getting officers out of their squad cars so they can interact with their communities, and also getting cops out of bike and bus lanes. Do you have a comment on the group's assertion that the NYPD is failing to be a good Vision Zero partner?
I disagree. Gersh, you already know my answer. I have said from day one, from the moment Bill Bratton made a speech about Vision Zero, I think even before he became our first police commissioner in this administration, that NYPD has been essential to Vision Zero. They believe in it. They put a huge amount of energy into it. We all have to do better. You say, is there more to do? Yeah. But I don't doubt for a moment the commitment of the NYPD. And I just see these things differently than some of the advocates do. Traffic enforcement, I think, does belong in the NYPD. Yeah, there's no question we can do better continuing to clear bike lanes. I want us to do that. We've talked before about needing to be conscientious about getting police vehicles out of bike lanes unless it's an emergency. We got more to do on that. There's no question there's things to do better. But if the question is commitment and understanding that Vision Zero is crucial to saving lives, no, it's absolutely there. Go ahead.
Okay, my second question is actually also related to the cops. Earlier today, in this press conference, you spoke about the unacceptable behavior of a small number of protesters who have allegedly been violent towards cops. But as you know, yesterday the New York Times put out a story with scores of videos, some of them not seen by the public before, showing egregious police misconduct against protesters. The kind of behavior you have said before is isolated, but the Times report suggests that they are not. And I don't think you've commented on the Times investigation, so could you do that?
Yeah, we're going to review that very carefully. I don't know the exact reality of how many of those videos have been seen before or not, either by the public or by the NYPD. But if there's anything that has not been seen before, it will be evaluated immediately. We intend there to be a fast, clear disciplinary process. But it's also an objective process that figures out where discipline is needed and where, in other cases, it may not be.
It's really great.
So look, I don't accept any situation where a police officer does not follow the rules of their profession. We need our police officers to be constantly aware of the high standard that they are held to and to stick to it. I truly believe the vast majority do. But for those who do not, there has to be a clear process of investigation and follow through in terms of discipline. I've said that a lot of times, and we've shown it. Again, no one's ever happy when a police officer has to be suspended. But Commissioner Shea has made very clear that when he sees evidence, he's going to act and act resolutely. And he's actually done it faster than I've seen any other police commissioner do it. And we're going to keep increasing and improving the speed of that process. Okay, everybody, as we conclude, look, I just want to make a point about the big announcement today in terms of childcare, because it's a big announcement because of the big impact it means for the people of this city, for the lives of everyday people. And I keep bringing things back to the lives of people in every neighborhood of this city, the people I serve, the people whose lives I've really gotten to know. And I know this is the kind of thing that truly matters. Parents who've been struggling for months to somehow find a way to keep their livelihood while educating their children, or, God forbid, they've lost their livelihood, still trying to do best they can by their children, but worried to death about how they're going to pay the bills. We've got to do better. We all together have fought back this disease in an extraordinary manner. We've got to keep doing that. But we've got to give more ability to parents who need to get back to work. That capacity in the child care will make all the difference in the world. And here's where the can-do spirit of this city comes in. The last few weeks, as I said, it became clear a surprising number of parents wanted their kids back in school, and we need to do something about it. This team here at City Hall immediately said, we will do it, we can do it. You heard from Melanie Hartzog and Lorraine Grillo. They and their teams have had an extraordinary spirit. No sense that there is a barrier, just the ability to get things done. This is a classic New York City attitude. We will make things happen no matter what. So we're telling you today, this day in July, that there'll be child care for 100,000 kids, and we aim to go farther. That families will get that child care regardless of ability to pay. And that we will make sure that every parent who needs help, that we're going to constantly look for every option to help them. Because in New York City, we don't stop. We keep creating, we keep fighting back this crisis. Thank you, everybody.
New York City, including Harlem, virtual, cyber, or physical security. If you have a business, or you can probably operate a business within a building. In 2 hours, I'm not going to be on for 2 hours, thank God. I know, right? It's summer, it's great. I'm watching Temple Hall now. Who's also on the board of Temple University's board of directors. So it's all about practice. You know, Maurice Dubois, who else? David Usher. I actually don't want my hair to be asymmetrical. I gotta have like different hairstyles. So you have to be careful if you're being bullied into a hairstyle. But in 2 hours, the Charlotte Observer is having a breaking point, tackling systematic racism in North Carolina. Should I tell people? That's my job, to tell people to make money. Visit my website so I can make money. And then I can tell you information about this this webinar or online or seminar for free, I think. So sometimes some people don't want you to tell, so that they are able to speak to the panelists. So that was a great press conference. I know about parking violations. You know, they're important. Sometimes we violate them. We're upset. We can't afford it, but it happens. So I don't know what to do about parking violations. Just try to follow them, pay the fine if you can. And maybe they can help people pay the fine if they accidentally violated a parking law. At the same time right now, Westchester County Executive, and he was speaking while the mayor was speaking. And Westchester County is a county in New York City that has a lot of tourists. It has a lot of nice shopping centers and a lot of museums. Mayor Greg Fisher is live now. And this is great that this is on Facebook.
Decrease COVID in our community. Numbers are increasing. We're seeing increases in cases from household members, spouses, and workplaces, and also people.
When you're in a press group, you don't want to be an oppressor. Something I probably wrote in my many papers at school.
People traveling to areas that have more COVID than us and coming back to Louisville.
Maybe someone sent out letters.
It's a stressful time for each of us individually.
And threatened
We avoid the 3 C's. So 3 C's are closed spaces with poor ventilation, crowded places with many people nearby, and close contact settings such as close range conversations.
Maybe they were stalked by this very
Each one is risky, but when you have all of these together, that's when you're likely to be part of a cluster of cases where many people are infected. So some examples of closed spaces: anywhere inside that has poor ventilation. So if you need to be inside, make sure you can space out at least 6 feet and open windows if possible. So if you go out to eat, please take advantage of outdoor seating when offered, and continue to support our local restaurants with carryout.
What's really interesting is that the Westchester County Executive, he discussed the U.S. Census and the bicentennial census. So the bicentennial census 2020, it's so important if you want products and services, or if you want politicians to be able to help you. It's so important to fill out the census. Census forms that are sent to you. Breaking Point: Tackling Systematic Racism in North Carolina by the Charlotte Observer. So that's today at 12:30 p.m. I may listen to it a few moments with it. I might be going to lunch. I don't know. So it's great to have a healthy lunch, like chicken or fish and vegetables. I read WWD retailers rebound. WWD reported that retailers rebounded 7.5% in June. Let's talk about the MTA. A lot of opportunities for suppliers to supply products and services for the MTA, especially if you attended school to learn construction. And they do have vendors in the subway. They sell clothes in the subway. They sell food, books, magazines, and other products in the subway. Really nice products. A lot of men from Pakistan sell products. Beautiful apparel. I know, like, the man that I always went to on the man that I always saw 42nd Street bus terminal, Port Authority, right across from the New York Times, is a store. Kind of, if you're getting on the A train southbound, I think, sells, inexpensive skirts for those people that ride the subway. Beautiful skirts, dresses. Nice personality he has. So all these people in the subway sell it's a legal store, and he has a store in the subway right there in Port Authority. Very inexpensive. So I was wondering, there could be more stores in the subway, like near underground, like Rockefeller Center Shopping Center underground. Nice underground shopping center. That's not in the subway. Rockefeller Center. So right now I'm just kind of reporting. I am on vacation. Meaning that I'm kind of breaking. So I work through my vacations. There's a Brand Week event, a live virtual event, on September 14th through the 17th, 2020. And then I love the website Net-a-Porter. They have great apparel on Net-a-Porter. And they also have a magazine. YouTube. They talked about Iceland. Isn't it great? Is there a way if we could sell products and services to the vendors in Iceland for tourists or people who live in Iceland? The president is going to deliver remarks today about rolling back regulations to help all Americans. So let's talk about, I don't know which regulations yet. It's important to know which regulations are going to help you or are going to help you. And if rolling back regulations are going to help you. The NBA starts July 30th. Go to MLB.com to learn more about when the MLB is going to start again. Let's talk about Philadelphia. The Fasten District is, where I used to shop in Center City, Philadelphia. I love Center City, Philadelphia. So Center City, Philadelphia is great. Center City, Philadelphia is near the perpendicular line streets of Broad Street and Market Street. So I used to work there around the district attorney's office. And you walk around Center City if you work at the district attorney's office in Philadelphia. So then, it's important at any job. You have to know the law. What if your boss gives you directions that's legal in one state and not the other? So those remarks are going to be pretty interesting about infrastructure today. And I think, or was that yesterday? That was yesterday, sorry. I'm sorry. He had remarks about the rebuilding of, and I wanted to quote those remarks. So he was at UPS yesterday. UPS hires a lot of African Americans, Latinos, Spanish, European Americans. A great place to work according to a lot of people. And the president was there yesterday. So maybe I will give you those quotes later. I didn't have enough time this morning or last night to read it. So last night I listened to an Omega Sci-Fi event after it was live because I did need to practice my yoga. So it's not about criticism, it's about help. How do we have time? I noticed that I tried to clean my whole house in the morning. I had to wake up about 5:30 a.m. And then by the time I take a shower and get dressed, will I be able to travel? So usually when I get home, I clean. And my mom probably lies to people because a lot of people, be happy for people that are happy. And if you're not happy, maybe if psychiatrists can help you be happy, I don't know. But try to be happy for people, and they'll be happy. So I read about this UNESCO, but I also read about the Pan American Health Organization. What do we need in terms of health? I mean, does every nation need universal health care in order to have made a bridge taken out? Our dental bridge is illegal. So it's a lot about health law. Did the dentist know it was legal? Are they pressured? Are they forced? Do they feel pressure from pharmaceutical companies or medical supply companies to sell products that are either unsafe or unnecessary? So I had a very nice sentence, very nice man. Should we, before we sue, can he recommend someone to remove my bridge because it hurts? Or he made an error? Who knows? So let's talk about the Pan American Health Organization maybe some other time. I was wondering what Donald Trump is doing about the World Health Organization and letting black people with black gums work with mask or without. So why didn't anyone tell me I needed a mask? So I must not need a mask. Right? So, exactly. Then Hong Kong, who, it's a mole. I have a mole. No, I don't have a mole. So, the Hong Kong, let's talk about starting businesses in Hong Kong. And maybe we can sell products and services to people in Hong Kong. Are we allowed to do that? If someone else owns a retail location, can we sell products and services to people in Hong Kong? And what about traveling to Hong Kong? So I know I did. I definitely emailed the tourism department of Hong Kong and maybe the commerce department. I've never sold ads for the NAACP, nor will I. Yet I am a lifetime member, and the organization is a great organization. Like with any organization, you just have to ignore people. Like me, I have to ignore myself right now. My own one-person organization. So that's all for, I think, today. Let me check and see what I want to discuss later. We're still with the city with my subscription to. Do I have a subscription to Microsoft 365 now? What's going on? No idea. Oh, finally. Oh, I was having a little issue with that, was I? City of Minneapolis. It's good to read the budget committee agendas and to read what's on, to read the agendas for any government meeting, and then to read the transcripts. It's good. Oh, I also have another something that's starting 1 hour. My mom is busy. I think she's getting married. Hey, Mom. But also the NRF Retail Leadership Series with Kevin Johnson, President and CEO of Starbucks Coffee Company. So I'm going to join that. I don't know what. This is Zoom, maybe? And then at 1 p.m. there'll be a briefing from Press Secretary McEnany. Usually it's on C-SPAN. I like Christopher Designs. He has summer essentials. He has a lot of jewelry with summer essentials. Like jewelry parties. So I'd like to have a jewelry party. I wanted to have an event at the Trump National, golf course in Charlotte, North Carolina, on Lake Norman State Park. And maybe have a fishing event. Some type of fishing event for the men. A lot of women like myself, if you're an event planner, sometimes you plan events for the men. Even though Intelligent Luxury, I do have other companies. But, Isn't that great? It looks like a Great Lake Norman on the Catawba River. So it helps with why do we love the river? Why can't you have a wedding at Trump National Golf Course? So, I can write about that. Helps my SEO, right? Helps their SEO, right? Maybe I can go to a Trump hotel after they fix my eyes. Retaliation against CIA nurses. Don't get mad if the government finds you if you made an accident or mistake. Most people won't see you. They just want to be fixed. So anyway, with all of that, the BMW Group had its new Sirius XM with 360L platform for the 2021 model year. Available on 2 Series, 3 Series, 4 Series, 5 Series, 8 Series, X1, X2, X3, X4, X5, X6, X7, and Z4 Roadsters. I subscribed to Sirius in the past, and I thought it's a great service. I love listening to NPR 1010 Wins for Traffic when I'm in New York City. So it's good to listen to the radio. I use my Carol's Daughter products. And Absolute Alcohol is something that I haven't drank yet, even though I purchased it. I'm trying to mix it with some fruit with my blender. You need to mix Absolute if you're over the age of 21 years old here in the U.S. So I haven't drank that yet. Just really red wine. What is it? Woodhouse, the official wine of the MLB. So that's at like ShopRite Wines. I haven't been in Gary Wines, but they have good cheese in Gary Wine. Good cheese. Good cheese. It's important to have clean hands and use hand sanitizer. It is. Lucky I have clean hands. So the White House today, we already know what the president's doing. I know I'm not supposed to do what I'm supposed to do. Someone's really trying to get me fired through hypnosis. They're about to go to prison. And then they really know the time of the day. Clock right on the wall. This is so sad. All that time studying. It's great. They tell us to study. Stay away from narcotics because they can hypnotize you. They can physically assault you too. It's hard for some people. Oh, this is great. Skechers is going to have a second quarter conference call on Thursday, July 23rd. We like Skechers. You can search for Skechers on my website for more information about Skechers shoes. And the Vice President, what's he doing today? Also participating in a roundtable discussion about rolling back regulations. And we're going to try to also listen to 50 Years of Art Basel, the 1970s. Really interesting art show that I have not attended in the past is Art Basel in Miami. It's always in a newspaper. They always talk about it in local New York magazines and newspapers, like the New York Times. Right? Art Basel. Not Basil, but Basel. So this is all starting in about an hour. This is really amazing. It's like blended learning, huh? But I kind of, did it already start? Did I miss it? Oh, I missed that one. That's all right. I was listening to the mayor. Mayor of New York for Art Basel. We need mayors in order to give us money for Art Basels. There's great art shows in New York. A couple I've been to on the west side, on the Upper East Side. Oh, can I see me? And that's what I needed. Is NYC Go. Outdoor dining is back. We love dining outside in New York and city. Let's learn more about that. I didn't know that my mom had a twin. Oh, my mom was this lady. Oh, Lord have mercy. This is funny. Oh, so everyone is beautiful, you know? Why would I think someone is not beautiful? But they might not have a good personality. They might have a bad personality. To me. That's about to start. Ignition 4, 6. I am very organized. I just simultaneously had another meeting. And the more apps I have, the slower my computer runs. I really liked my Apple's computers were running really well. The what other computers have I used? Maybe IBM. Remember when they had IBM compatibles? And I think I kind of have an IBM compatible right now, right? And then I haven't used Microsoft, but as a computer, but I do need. I like Toshiba. I have my own Toshiba. Did I accidentally give a computer, or did they threaten my mother for me to give it to them, right? And took off everything. I love my business cards from Vistaprint. And I put my picture on the cards with cosmetics on it, right? Oh, I have another meeting that I learned about today. Is this a meeting? What did I want to talk about? Oh, this is it. The CFDA. If you're a fashion designer, you can join the Council of Fashion Designers of America. So I'm a fashion designer. How about discrimination against showing part of your chest? Flat-chested women, they show like so much, and we can't tan our chests like we need to. That's discrimination. But don't show, your entire breast. So does it fit, or does it fit how I want to fit? Should people say something? Isn't that illegal? Oh, I wrote on my website. This is great. You could sign up for a newsletter. It's false. Don't, because I need to background check people before I send them newsletters. So you can find me on Twitter, LinkedIn, if you're my LinkedIn person. If you met me, you can find me on LinkedIn if I like you and you met me. So Lake James State Park, the New York Times Style Magazine. So I read articles online. And the Intelligent Luxury Star and Stephanie Summer Sips and Quotes, I wrote a little bit. And then President Trump delivered remarks on rebuilding America's infrastructure. So that's fun. Today we're talking about rolling back regulations. And then I read about international constitutional law classes in classrooms. A heat wave in Middle Eastern society. And then I put Stephanie Taylor Jordan Bryant. Can you believe that Kobe Bryant's mother used to tease or physically assault my mother in high school, even though she was left back in high school, meaning that she was supposed to have graduated by the time my mother was in high school. And then all of a sudden, someone hired someone to say that Kobe Bryant wants to marry me. And then what happened? They called the police because he imitates her. And she imitates him, and forces people, and slams their head, and forces people to have sex with her. She imitates her own son. I'm sorry, Kobe. Your mother has hurt a lot of people. She may need to go to prison. According to the police, I think. Even Toni Morrison wrote about a female serial sex offender. Serial with an S. Heat wave in the Middle East. The heat rises. Is there a heat wave in the Middle East? So I don't have an editor. I edit myself. Sometimes we have mistakes. Right. So you have to study the culture in order to be able to debate. As long as you try. Right. I'm doing it for those that say, oh my God, I made a mistake. Someone needs to rob a bank or rob their relatives. Put the words up. People will know you try. Practice makes you better reader and writer. I win because I'm a good person. I can't give people money unless you background check. That's good. So there's space there. Sometimes I write in different texts. First tense, I tense. Different tenses. My company is existential. I know I'm not a poor editor. Someone wants me to not have a company because at least I'm always home because she terrorized my mother verbally. Allegedly. Or he, allegedly. Or me. So, anyway. Even if that happens, I'm just talking for... It may not have happened. I'm just talking for other people that it happens to. So let's wait for these things to begin. Mike Pence might visit Wisconsin this week or next week. And I wanted to read the remarks about the Economic Club. I wanted to join the Economic Club. So it's a nonpartisan forum for discussion of economic, social, and political issues, wrote U.S. Secretary Pompeo. And then Nia Long is on ABFF Instagram Live. Was she on last night? I missed that. I can't sit I have to go outside sometime, right? So I like to go outside and do different things. So I posted on my Instagram account a photograph. I had a slice of salad pizza last night, a little bit of sausage pizza, and a half a beef patty. Every time I lose weight, all of a sudden, I feel the urge to eat a whole lot of pizza. And I can't eat a lot of it. So I can only really eat one slice. One slice of pizza or one beef patty. So that's something I'll pray about. Let's talk about Second Lady Karen Pence's Baltimore crisis response. So the Second Lady Karen Pence and Dr. Eleanor F. McCants, Assistant Secretary for Mental Health and Substance Use. What if some people are not mental health? What if mental health employees in a county like Rockland that had a large state psychiatric facility, some of the employees might be poor, might be ex-cons, might be other types of employees, retaliating against each other using a subliminal message machine, purchasing psych wards. You threatening me, Kobe? I don't think so, buddy. Kobe is a stranger's parent, so maybe pretended. Isn't it difficult to have a parent that is addicted to something and you can't solve it? Addicted to overeating? A child that might have become addicted to overeating? But my mother was really good and helped me be thin by not forcing me to overeat and forcing me to eat salads. My salad's still there. I ordered extra salad. But since I know he'll probably give me a salad next time. Isn't that great about going to the same restaurant all the time. That's what's great about us here. We might not know one another personally. Why don't I know people's names? Maybe they don't want me to know my name. Maybe they thought that I was gonna die after the kidnapping. You know, I really like my this. So they have different mental health workers working there in Baltimore. What's the mental health effects of having vermin in the home? Having a house that's just vermin. I think that's the scariest thing is the vermin, and be able to clean it, and how to block the holes in the kitchen and from the heat. And now they have ductless or pipeless heating. And you might have to open your window a little bit, even in the winter, so that you can breathe. And you should close your windows when you leave the house in case of robbery. What if your neighbor has a key and you didn't know it and has your bracelet? What if? On July 1st, 2020, the United States accepted Pakistan's accession to the 1980 Hague Convention. So let's start this NRF retail leadership event. I'm not going to be on the phone because I think you can sign in maybe for free or not. I don't know. You may have to pay, but if you want to start a retail business, you should maybe register for NRF. That's the end of my show. Adios. We have other sponsors. Oh, Simon Property Group Preep. You can lease space there. Bloomingdale's, Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom's, Saks Fifth Avenue, Jeffries. All great department stores. I haven't been to Jeffries. I've been past Jeffries, but have I been to Jeffries? And then also Bergdorf Goodman. I like Barney's New York and Barney's Las Vegas. Sometimes you can find affordable apparel in these stores, in the luxury shopping stores. And I love wearing Free People. Yeah, today I think I'm wearing a Walmart shirt and leggings from Mandy's. I like Mandy. And then I have my polka dot flip-flops, yellow polka dot flip-flops. I'm going to change it to my Walmart shoes. Usually I buy about 1 pair of shoes, 2 pairs of shoes a summer. You know, I'll try to save. But what happens if you're saving, you spend it waiting for people to go to the bank when you purchase a home? Before you purchase a home, you go to a bank. You get pre-approved for the amount that you can afford to pay. And then they print out the financial information for you, the banks, if your bank should. And then you show it. You don't show your account number to the real estate agent. You show how much you made according to the bank and whatever information they need. Usually the real estate agent will tell you what type of financial information you need before you purchase a home. And then you may not have a lot of expenses except for sanitation, garbage, and if someone didn't steal your recyclable container. So it's good to purchase your own recyclable container because you don't want anything getting into a bin that doesn't have a lid. Or I guess where we live, we can't have lids on our trash cans. I don't know. Someone stole your lid, and that's why. I think someone stole my lid to my garbage can to give me a fine. What if the guy that the family that works for the garbage company is friends with the biggest narcotic distributing African American family in the world? Oh my God, I need witness protection. And then someone left like alcohol in my cooler. I told them I would call the police and they didn't leave. Do I need my mama?